Hey crew, I've got the key to this 21 Dodge Charger Scat Pack Widebody. And no, I'm not making a statement with the trash can behind it. We are going to take it for a drive, but first, let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. Up front, there is plenty of functional ventilation, including the hood scoop, slender grille with integrated mail slot, and large front air dam, plus the corner vents down low. Other details include LED daytime running lights, not LED headlights. Even in this day and age, we have HIDs, and even those are an upgrade over the Xenons. Scat Pack badge right there, and body color matching front splitter. Before we get to the side, you can see the pronounced fender flares that you need to wrap over the 305 section front and rear Pirelli P0 tires. Those tires are wrapping over 20-inch gunmetal gray wheels. Beyond those, you can see the red painted calipers. That's an upgrade. The 6-piston Brembo brakes and 4-piston rear are on the Scat Pack Widebody package. 392 badge here. Stepping back to look at the profile, see the OCM, OC Motivator badge, the decal, and that's here because this is Brad's car. Guys, go check out the OC Motivator YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. Thank you, Brad, for letting us film your Scat Pack Widebody. Now in profile, this is where the Charger is showing its ears. We've had the same silhouette since 2011. Widebody only now just spicing it up a bit. At the back, this upper spoiler is a Brad addition, but this piece down here is part of the Scat Pack package. You have the taillight bar going across, OC Motivator obviously an addition, the B moniker there, and then dual chrome exhaust ports. This is a larger, it's an aftermarket diffuser. Vents back there. In total, I just love the wide body package on the Scat Pack. It's this permanent flex. And yeah, there's some age here, but another word for age could be classic. Let's look at that interior. Opening up and looking inside. The wide body package comes with suede seat inserts and Nappa leather borders. Brad chose the caramel interior. You can also choose red or black. On the door panels, we've got injection molding and stitching, leather here with more stitching, leather on the armrest, hard plastics, power but not one-touch windows, hard plastics down low with some storage. Taller folks will need to note the sloping roofline, and the tall seat cushions means that there's a narrower gap to squeeze your body in, so duck your head. Behind my own seat at 6 feet tall, I've got good knee room. The foot pockets are big to slide my feet under. Headroom, well, my hair is brushing against the roof, but my head's not pressing against it. There are air vents back here, 2 stages of seat heating with a plus package, 2 USB ports. A larger drive shaft hump means that sitting in the middle seat means your legs are going to be sprawled. If you don't have someone sitting here, there is an armrest that comes down, nicely padded, some storage, 2 cup holders. I say you're pretty well accommodated in the back seats. I would just love an extra inch of headroom. It's a nice thud. Keyless entry. In the front, look at these chairs. They're huge. All that bolstering on the side. Power adjustments, lumbar, B's in the back of the seat. Same material quality for the front doors as the back. Your window switches, power adjusting door mirrors, not power folding. 2-position memory for the seats. Door handle feels kind of cheap. This one is the optional Alpine sound system. Trunk release button is here. I do like that it brings the trunk lid all the way up. And here we find a generous 16.5 cubic feet of space with 60/40 split folding rear seats for more space. There's a handle to close the trunk in typically one fell swoop. We also have capless fueling. Well done, Dodge. Sliding inside. And closing up the, oh my gosh, it's so far away. I'll put it in accessory mode. So we can see the digital instrument cluster here, between the analog gauges left and right. Stitching and injection molding on the dashboard. An 8.4-inch Uconnect system that's responsive-ish And it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Pretty easy to use as well. Physical volume knob, physical tuner, physical climate control setting, and they're all rubberized. Launch mode and some drive mode settings here. Your gear selector is there with leather on the top of it. Spot for your key, 2 cup holders, storage in the console, and it's nicely padded. 392 badge on the right-hand side. This one is the sunroof option for a whopping $12.95, and it does cut down on headroom for front seat passengers. So here I can clear the roof, but I don't have a lot of room, so if I was wearing a helmet, it might be a problem. Visibility is great. You've got a big rear window, some thicker T-pillars, but this one is blind spot monitoring. You've got a lot of features in this cabin, but I want to see about the muscle. Look at these paddles, though. They're so dinky. Okay. Let's take it for a drive. All right, let's fire it up. Oh, did you feel that? Okay, so drive mode wise, we're going to begin in auto. Putting it in reverse, that brings your screen filling backup camera. It's interesting to look at a square screen in a world of horizontal widescreen formats. So we've got the trajectory lines here as I turn the wheel, and we'll back it on out. And I do want to do a turning radius test just to kick things off, so I'm going to keep backing up to give us enough room because I think we're going to need it. And let's see how she turns. That's actually not as bad as I was expecting. Huh. I mean, granted, we have a large area, harder to get the feel for, but that wasn't an awful turn. How's the horn? Also more dignified than I was expecting. I almost expected a train horn. We'll begin with a discussion of the engine. How could you not? 6.4 liter, naturally aspirated V8. Bigger than the optional 5.7 liter you can get in the Charger. When you upgrade to the Scat Pack, you get the 6.4. It makes 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to an 8-speed automatic gearbox, sending power to just the rear wheels. You cannot get the Scat Pack with all-wheel drive. Now I half expected that in eco mode it would subdue the noise of that V8 somewhat, but no such thing. Yeah, it will upshift gears to get you as much fuel economy as possible, but when you put your foot down, gosh, what a noise. What a soundtrack. In eco mode. Now, while we're in eco, I will discuss the fuel economy because it's not fantastic. 15 city, 24 highway, but 18 combined MPG trails its competitors by at least 2 combined MPG. So we go over this rough patch of road. We can discuss the ride quality, which is actually pretty good, thanks to the adaptive dampers that you get. I'm going for it. Oh, my Lanta. I don't even think we were going that fast, but it felt like we just broke the sound barrier. Anyway, back to ride quality. Adaptive dampers with the Widebody package muddle through the worst of road imperfections. Well, that and the thickness of these seat cushions. mean that you're darn comfortable for daily driving. And that 8-speed is so fluid. You just don't even notice the gear changes. The brake pedal as well is so nice to regulate. Not grabby, but the moment you get your foot far enough in it, it clamps down on those 6-piston front brakes and really hauls the vehicle down. But enough with this eco mode business. Hit that button again and it puts you in auto mode, where we'll adjust the throttle mapping and the suspension damping and the steering inputs, all based on your driving behavior. Or you could go one step further and hit the sport or custom button, and this is going to improve throttle response dramatically. We'll also stiffen up those dampers, and we'll see how it does as we go through a corner. Of the car, but you can also feel the suspension tuning, the stiffer springs, the beefier sway bars. It floats the rear end around progressively, easy to control. The steering in sport, it has more resistance. There's still not a lot of feedback, not a ton of communication, but those wide contact patches give you so much natural grip, mechanical grip to play with. Speaking of playing, let's go to manual mode. Pull on these horrendous paddles, which do prompt quick downshifts. And revel in the soundtrack and velocity. Those upshifts are quick. Downshifts are as well. And you can easily see how the Scat Pack is capable of 176 miles per hour. Provided you're not looking at traffic like this. It's a very satisfying kick upon each upshift. Kick and keep going. It's like kicking you forward, not kicking you back. That's going to eat through fuel quickly. And with these gas prices, we'll have you second guessing that a little bit, but you still want to do it for the noise. Which, to speak more about the noise, I'm not missing as much what I expected to miss of the supercharger whine that you have in the Hellcats. Obviously, you're missing the extra 200 plus horsepower. It makes mid-range pulls like this even more ridiculous. And even the 305 section tires in the Hellcats will be spinning in fourth gear. But the HEMI noise is so good. It's so pronounced. And the power is rich and abundant that you don't miss it quite as much as you thought. When you stop playing around, you say go back into auto mode, and the Scat Pack settles down, you can appreciate a very nice ride. And more than that, a darn well insulated cabin. There's the brush of wind noise. There's some tire noise. I mean, you're dealing with huge tires. some road noise. But for the $40,000 starting price for the Charger Scat Pack, knowing that you're not addressing any of those core components by adding to the performance, this is pretty darn good. This is just a phenomenal cruiser. The seat comfort, the suspension damping, the abundant and fully available power. And here's one thing also to mention about the Scat Pack relative to the Hellcat. This is usable power. Put your foot too far in to the throttle of the Hellcat and you'll just spin right around. In the Scat Pack, yes, you can spin the tires quite easily if you want to. But you can also modulate it such that you're just having fun while not scaring yourself half to death. Now, Brad did say I could sacrifice a bit of rubber for the cause, so let's try that again in track mode with traction control and stability control turned all the way off. Here we go. Now, hot on the heels of that lovely demonstration, I'm going to show you launch control. So to activate that, you set your RPM that it's going to hold it to, and from what I've read, 1300 is kind of perfect. Then you hit activate, you just hold your foot hard on the brake and pin the throttle, release launch. There's 60 in 4.9 seconds. Not the quickest. Not even as quick as Dodge's estimate of 4.3 seconds. But I imagine if you do that enough and you get it just perfect, you could see 4.3. We'll finalize this review and my thoughts on the Charger Scat Pack Widebody in custom drive mode. So this is a 21, as I mentioned, and so as I go over pricing, keep in mind that this is the 21's price. The 22 actually went up in price like $2,000 or $3,000, but the Scat Pack in 21 was about $43,000 to start, and add on $6,000 for the Scat Pack package. So just under 50 grand for this vehicle, and then as tested, Brad had a few options from the factory, and then of course a few aftermarket options, but the factory options brought the price up to about $55,000. What could you buy with that kind of money? Well, you could also look at the Kia Stinger GT and the BMW M340i. Both of those vehicles you can get with all-wheel drive. Both of them make a lot less power than this, and their prices sort of border the Scat Pack. So you've got 50 grand for the Kia Stinger GT2, and that one makes 368 horsepower. It gets to 60 in about 4.6 seconds. The fuel economy for that one is 20 combined. And then there's the BMW M340i. In rear drive form, it's about $55,000 to start. It makes 383 horsepower. It gets to 60 in 4.1 seconds, and it has a whopping 26 combined MPG. I love both of those cars. I like the M340i even more, but $55,000 is tantalizing and yet pretty much a teaser, because while the Scat Pack has largely everything you need, I mean, you add on a few options and you get it to the 55 territory. That's then the starting figure for the M340i, and that's just getting your foot in the door. Any little options you add on, and that's quickly a $60,000, $65,000 vehicle. Doesn't make the same power, doesn't make the same noise. It could run circles around this vehicle on a racetrack though, and it's quicker to 60. It's a tough call between all those vehicles, but I'm seriously, genuinely considering buying a Scat Pack Widebody. So I think you can guess which one I would have. And part of it is for the reason I just witnessed with this little boy pressing his face against the glass of that Chevy Tahoe. You would never see that happen with a little boy staring at a BMW M340i or even a Kia Stinger, which is a great vehicle. The GT2 is a lot of fun. This car just gets people excited from the way it looks to the way it sounds to, of course, the performance that's on tap. It gets me excited, and I'm genuinely serious about considering buying this vehicle. Maybe this vehicle specifically, because Brad's actually selling it. But in general, just getting a Charger Scat Pack Widebody. I'm curious what you guys think. Should I do it? Please let me know in the comments. And speaking of, please like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to get notified. And I'll see you guys next time.